Hello, hello. I'm back with some Final Fantasy XIV. How y'all doing today? And it's time for me to try to wrap up the base Endwalker story today. We'll see how far I get. Alright, so left off, I was just finishing up the Thou Must Live, Bleep, and No. So we're gonna go check on that. Let's go see Cryle. What's the little murder midget got to say? Cryle says, impeccable timing as always. I heard you were off in the first as part of our efforts to investigate the final days. Well, as so often seems to be the case, while you were away, we've had some few developments, which we can discuss in just a moment. For now, however, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to see you back. Alright, so that was where I was at the end of the last stream. And now we are moving on into the level 88 quests. This one is As the Heavens Burn. Though you and Cryle both have news to share, hers is perhaps the more urgent. Cryle says, "So, have you learned aught more of the final days? Then the journey was well worth the risk. No doubt your newfound knowledge will be a great boon to us all. Unfortunately, during your time on the first, events here have taken a turn for the worse. The Scions are running themselves ragged, trying to contain the spread of blasphemies, but it's a losing battle." Tataru says, "To try and ascertain the where and why of it, LSA and Alphino have been traveling all over. Of all the regions they visited, Locust I can never say that one, is one of the worst affected. Thancred, Estinian, and Graha took a detachment of allied soldiers there to offer aid and succor for those in need. But the province is vast. They only managed to visit a handful of coastal villages. It was an accomplishment worth celebrating, still, but a drop in the bucket at best." Cryle says, "In the meantime, Y'shtola and Master Matoya have been making a concerted effort in establishing contact with Hydaelyn in the Ethereal Sea, but to no avail. As for Tataru and I, we've been keeping a close eye on the Forum. From what we gather, they've been constructing a vessel to ferry people to the moon. An ambitious project that has likely been years, if not decades, in the making. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete." Cryle says, "You'll also recall the proposal issued by Master Fortunaut to the people of Ratzat-Han. Following their discussion, Vitra declared his support for the plan and urged those who wished to evacuate to accept the Forum's invitation. So far, so good. But that's where things get a little strange. Apparently, the Forum caught wind of the lunar transporter in the Tower of Babel and decided to use it to deliver people to the moon instead of their mysterious ship. Therefore, to secure passage for the Hanish refugees to the tower, Alphino, LSA, Estinian, and Graha traveled to Garlemald not long ago. Trouble is, the capital was hardly the safest place to begin with, and now the final days have come to Garlemald. Oh dear. Krell says shortly after our friends arrived, they were sent to rendezvous with Master Foshino. And then panic broke out, and our communications were severed. From what fragments we were able to make out before the link shell went completely silent, we can only assume the phenomenon has spread to the capital. The others need you. Please, you must help them. Krell says, having you there will make all the difference, I'm sure. Tataru says, Camp Broken Glass was their first protocol, so you'd best start there. Hopefully, Lucia will know where they are. There's no telling what you'll be walking into, so you'd best take every possible precaution. This music, seriously. I'm gonna get sick of that so fast, that background music. Oh, good. Okay. So, to Camp Broken Glass we go. Alrighty. And here we are. Let's go talk to Lucia. Looks like something interesting is going to be going on. And not a moment too soon, Lucia says. The skies over Garlemald are ablaze, but it's events on the ground that concern me. As you will have heard, your fellow Scions arrived ahead of you. We kept the customary greetings short after we received word from our troops on the Magna Glacies that the Forum's airship had landed. It was then that the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees come to no harm. I would have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. I trust you're ready to depart. Alright, upon departing, several cutscenes, blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. Yada yada yada. I'm doing alright, Jody. Sorry to hear you'd had a headache for a few days there. I'm glad to hear you're doing better. Earlier in the Magna Glacies. Things are not looking very kosher here in the game.
No. 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 We were promised an escape. Not the same doom we fled.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste. Calm yourselves! Your panic is our greatest enemy. Come, we must build a line of defense. How?
Leave the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
I can handle this pair. You?
Shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
As you wish, my little lord.
Well, things are about to get interesting. Oh, I'm playing as Elpino now.
Attention. See to the wounded.
Alright.
Help is at hand.
I have no idea how to play Sage. I've just never gotten into it.
Leave it to me.
Okay, what's going on here? Oh, that's not good.
Those who can stand, come with me.
Everyone's turning, all is lost, says this one. Distressed refugee. Alright, talk to
Easy
him.
now. Deep breaths.
Go talk to this one.
You're safe now.
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself, boy.
Alright. Gotta keep Estinian alive. gotta look away. Alright, let's keep this up.
It's like hard, but not hard enough!
Alright, got through that.
Help! Someone, please!
What?
No. Don't. I don't want to die.
Forward! Let not a single fiend escape! Wait, that's... Euless and the army. So, you've recovered then? In time enough to be of aid, for once. We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight! To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! For Garlemald has her pride! Of that I've no doubt.
Good gods. Of all possible saviors, the Imperial Army. Oh!
That's gonna stick in his craw.
I had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Think a withdrawal might be in order?
Oh, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate. To be devoured by their former friends. That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices. Now, let's go!
Alright, so now I'm playing as Alisei. I don't know, my buttons are where I'm used to them being. Alright, let's go.
I'm fine.
This is just so nerfed beyond one of the other sounds.
Not today.
Alright. More meteors, huh?
I'm not done yet.
Alright, come on, we got the picture. Let me do this fight.
None to worry about.
Right.
The air crackles with energy. Find cover!
As they say, turnabout's fair play.
Alright,
On
let's
guard.
this thing. Alright.
There's not the barest trace of ether. Maybe there really is no way to bring them back.
Thank you for saving our lives once again. I remember you, from Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Ah, you're from Palaka's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece. Or you will be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out! Get out of here! Quickly!
Here we go
I
again.
won't lose them! Not a one! This will be a brighter future! I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve!
Get it together, Alize. You're embarrassing yourself. And in front of Father, no less. You might never measure up to our champion. But we ask too much of her as it is. You mustn't let Eorzea's hero fight alone. Oh!
Might bit nipply out here. What am I gonna say? I'm back. You've done well in my absence. This is precisely why you should never skip your squat regime. Yeah, this is why you shouldn't skip the squats.
I can look after myself, you know.
Everything's in order? I trust?
I've had enough of this rabble! Come on!
Oh, a trio for the ages.
Alright, here we go.
Just the beginning.
I had a feeling I'd find you here. This should be the last of the worst troublemakers. With me!
Damn you! Yeah.
Leave the healing to me. I am in your debt.
Now, where were we?
Okay. Well, through that then. Now what? Do. There we are.
You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor are you wrong to fear that this corruption will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland. What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you. That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon.
The moon.
Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to old Sharlayan. Please.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat-Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
You think?
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Yes. Well,
Behind you! Just there!
Oh, jeez. Now what? real mouthy bugger. Hey. Hey! Go home, Xenos. You're drunk.
Xenos! You'll be alright. Hurry to the airship.
Xenos here stealing our XP. Ugh!
Why have you come?
Yeah, what the heck you doing here, Xenos?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying. Poor sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a rematch.
That is and has ever been my sole concern. You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry. Your passion pales before mine, yet neither hate nor despair seems sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust. So, I hone my blade, and I wait.
Not for nothing, Xenos, but you're a little bit warped, buddy. Therapy.
That's it. That's all you care about. Garlemald is in ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. Along with so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us. Not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians. Murdered by their own flesh and blood. Lost and confused as they breathed their last. While we who survived with our lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death. The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing! You slaughtered your countrymen! You did! For what?
For nothing in the end. So much wasted effort.
Really want to stick a boot up his butt.
You bastard!
For your own sake, Eulus, you must control your anger. It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Healthy Nerd is the voice of reason there.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
Good reason, schmud reason. Like you'd ever have a good reason.
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends? Yet you would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits them. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place as a notch on my blade.
You are a blight on the Garlean race, and there would be no more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death! But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you. So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Xenos! Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day. You will never get what you want, not even the battle you pine for so dearly. You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
I'll say up in here dropping truth bombs.
We're ready to depart. The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being. There's room enough for you to join me on it, if you wish. Do contain your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, 'tis only meet that I explain myself to the Ilsabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Eulus, we can speak of recent events on the way.
He'll be after your seat on the forum next.
Hey Sage, how's it going? Alright, let's go hunt up Alice. There she is. Time to talk to her. She says, to see Zeno standing there so uncaring and unrepentant. God, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind. But looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they don't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. It's good to see you again. Alright, Lucia is taking stock of the present situation.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius? I'm the forum's envoy, Fortuno Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
Julia's just getting shocked left, right, and center.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuno. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Sharlayan alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other, I would doubt. But you, I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it.
High praise from Elpenerd's father there.
Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait. Did you hear something just now?
That ear wiggle.
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Aetheris. Oyanje made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Urianger's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom?
I just can't help but laugh at this.
Ahem. As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Urianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
And they probably figure they can understand us better than they can Urianger. You know, he's got that speech problem after all.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow! Well met! You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydaelyn's right paw! That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Sharlayan, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperites made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
Okay. So what am I going to say? Good to have us you back, or may thy disciples banish the darkest of nights? Let's call them his disciples. May the disciples banish the darkest of nights.
I am no esteemed philosopher of Eld. Nevertheless, 'tis my hope that what little knowledge I shared shall serve them well, and perchance help save us all. Will thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
I'm not surprised she's cold. Alright, we're back in Sharlayan. Let's talk to Urianger. I dare say Master Potionaut was as nonplussed as we to learn the identity of Heidelin's lunar custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have time to discuss the recent adventures, or we are summoned to the Rosta. I'm tempted to check you out, but not right now. Let's not have any distractions. I could teleport, but we're not skipping a leg day. Alright, here we are. Let's go in the entrance. Dun, dun, dun. Hagrid saying, not that I'm complaining, Arianje, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Arianje says, nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Atheris, I did inadvertently awaken in the Loporrits a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Y'shtola says, Kyle tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I have news to share regarding our study of the Ethereal Sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Heidelin's Elpis Flower lead? Alphino says, then this dynamis is what drives the final days? If it and Akasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nadana's theory. Were an entity, through sheer force of emotion, to channel this vast, dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of Aether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of its great expanse. Raj says, Medion. Or rather, the sorrow and suffering of the fallen civilizations that she had been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Atheris. Stanian says, then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Medion. Ishtala says, "You make it sound so simple. But you're not wrong. Vanquish Medion and we deliver the world from the final days. But to even attempt it, there are 2 conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Medion escaped, an enchantment was placed on her by Vana, the woman who became Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Vana you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Atheris, not to stay." Ral says, "Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Medion?" What am I gonna say? The Vana I know would never give up. Or no, but Medion is still out there. The Vana I know would never give up. Kral says, "That's my impression too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question." Alphino says, "So, what's the second condition?" Shtala says, "We must find a means to reach Medion. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she has made her nest." Bankard says, "Then communing with Hydaelyn must by necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea?" Ishtala says, "Sadly not. Though we enlisted the help of Arnfeld and other Echo-blessed allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the Antitower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea, built closer to home." Ojika Chinzika, yeah, Lalafell name. "Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. I'll say so, as then Father was able to persuade them." Alphino says, They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say." Alright. Let's go talk to the steward. Off we go. Alright, let's see. We'll go right up there. And we're gonna talk to this guy. Knock knock, let us in. It says the forum is in session, and as such, the Rostra is closed to visitors. Yeah, we got summoned. Let us in. The Rostra steward says, a scion of the 7th dawn? Very well. You may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your arma at the door. Lest you forget, the sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. Yeah. Okay, so we'll muzzle Y'shtola, right? I'm kidding. We'll muzzle Thankard instead. Alright. Making us wait.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat-Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
I'm imagining my character's often off on the edge, leaning against one of these desks, sound asleep, bored out of her mind.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Okay, dude. If you're not gonna have any source of conflict, you're not gonna be sending anybody.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Anti-Tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Oh, come on. It's not like he's asking to borrow the keys for the car. Just your Ark.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28... Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Well, well, if Daddy Dearest wasn't expecting that one. Alright. Alphino says, "Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was, admittedly, thinking on my feet for the most part. But since we require both a means of communing with Hydaelyn and reaching Medion, in the spur of the moment, I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the Etherburner. I'd like to think it's not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how an Etherburner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. Alright. Let's talk to their daddy. Going underground, Fortuneau's ability to maintain a stiff upper lip is being sorely tested. You betcha. Fortuneau says, "As instructed, I shall take you to see the Etherburner. Meet me outside the Archeon. I trust you can make your way there on your own?" Yeah. Alphino says, "So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else would they conceal such a massive undertaking?" Alright. Down the stairs we go. Yes, I want to go to Labyrinthos. That's right, I do not have flying here because I have not discovered the entirety of this zone yet. Of course, I could have teleported down here, but... Nyeh. Alrighty. There we go, here's the gang. Let's talk to Fortuno. Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the lift. Step inside and have Ophidalia take you... Ophalin? Take you to the medial circuit. There we go. Hey there, lady. Run the elevator for me, would you? And we'll talk to Fortuno again. I've sent your associates ahead to Logisticon Alpha on the other side of Ergonomics. Okay. Actually, there's something I've been meaning to... He's having a hard time with this. Am I so short you're having a hard time talking to me? He says, no, never mind. It can wait. Let us attend to the matters at hand. Alright. I have really not touched on most of this stuff down here. Okay. And I'm gonna leave you alone for now. At least I didn't need to turn into a frog to get over here, huh? Elfino says... What does he say? Elfino says we are to wait here while our father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here being Logisticon Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of Labyrinthos are regulated. Water is drawn from underground and dispersed as vapor, stimulating the formation of artificial clouds and rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for the growth and preservation of the biological samples kept here. Elise says, hold on. How do you know so much about it? Elfino says, my father brought me here as a child. Elise says, what? And left me behind? Elfino says, actually, you're the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking Father how clouds were made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. Rihanna says, "'Tis all too easy to take for granted the many interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured to the wondrous. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the Labyrinths in recreating a similar environment, I have come to view such processes in a new light. The subterranean gardens of Labyrinthos, the lunar prison, forged to contain the ancient Zodiac, the habitations built for all mankind beneath the moon's surface, each unique yet undeniably similar. 'Tis no mere coincidence," Porshino says. Porshino continues to say, "Ever since Eidolon unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Theris, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos in preparation for the Great Exodus. But that is not all. It is also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. Though the Labyrinths have endeavored to make the moon inhabitable, that is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren." Porshino says, "Alas, time is not on our side. I've arranged for you all to enter the central circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the Great Exodus are carried out, the construction of the Ark among them." Porshino says, "Although our plans have been made public, access remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to such restrictions and will have free rein to come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all." Elfino says, "We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust, your trust." Porshino says, "Then let us proceed." Alright, here we go. Hester says, "By decree of the Forum, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are permitted to enter the Central Circuit. Let me in." And we get another speech. Porshino says, "The Aether Burner is being constructed not far from here. Overseeing the work is Kokol Denkol, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary introductions have been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars. This way." Alright. Where am I? I need to go over this way. Should go the other way so I have that teleport, but eh. Thought I was gonna be moving faster than this. Thought I'd get to the dungeon sooner. Well. Forgot how long some of this stuff takes. Alright. We'll talk to this guy.
I could swap them out. No. Been there, done that. Damn near lost my eyebrows.
Think, Coco, think! We'd be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, Master Force, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the ether burner conundrum.
Huh. Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
By whatever means, huh? Oh, boy.
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the ether burner.
Aye, aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the ether burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding.
Okay, so we need Hildebrand. I'm kidding.
Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb. But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient. A measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Hast thou consulted with the Loperites?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, and as I most certainly do not.
Those Lockharts calling it a teeny tiny toy boat. Love it. Love it.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You trying to drive me mad?
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allegan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some ends like blowing up a dam and watching the river of ether come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it, though.
We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the ether burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the Northern Empty during the Calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency will be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive calls from Ragnarok-class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. But according to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up. It's rough going in there, even for the cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
Alright, so what am I gonna say here? You want me to go fetch the what's-its, or... That sounds like a job for someone else. You want me to go get them?
That may be for the best, though you doubtless find the task too dull for your liking.
Used to fetching stuff.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option.
True.
Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously...
Well, for now, what are you up to?
Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours.
What's all this?
Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward.
Oh, that wordplay.
This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-Wood expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists, or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad. Any road, if you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Combine a source like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth.
Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's plunder for the taking. And I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
Looks like it's just about time. We're very close to it. Alright, time to talk to Kryle. Things are definitely heating up again over here. Alright. Kryle says, it's times like these we're reminded of how famous or infamous Alphino has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single link pearl conversation? As we're expecting rather a lot of visitors in the near future, I'd best return to the surface and inform the relevant parties. I also have a contact of my own that might be worth a try. Okay. Alphina says, oh? And who might that be? Nah. Kryle laughing. That's for me to know and you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. Alright, going underground complete. Meanwhile, in Alda,
our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Thiergeist, we have need of your stone torches. They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberk will personally see it done.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade, clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults. Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it. The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Uldar's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together. It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Uldar will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
Well, that's some marching orders. Next. Meanwhile, in the Black Shroud.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
Commander Hext, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk.
She's not here to chew bubblegum.
So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Our deficiency so plain to see.
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the Scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come, let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
But first, we're going to trim your bangs.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
I mean, listen, kid. How are you supposed to kick butt if you can't see past the hair in front of your eyeballs? Meanwhile, in corsets...
There you are! We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already... Ah.
They just had to do this, didn't they?
That was a roar. A dragon's roar.
No shit, Sherlock. Meanwhile, in the Ruby Sea, dun dun dun.
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honourable Lord Lolorito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid. Is that...
Hancock? What a surprise this is. And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
Well then, alright. Talk to Alphino. No job too small. Alphino is resisting the urge to pat himself on the back. Okay. Alphino says, though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they've arrived. Yep. In the meantime, is there aught else we might do to be of service? Bomb enthusiast, or explosion enthusiastic Lullafell over here says, ha! You've already done more than enough. If I had to say, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about Allegan technology. Graha, you're up. Cole says, you there, the lad with the red eyes and imagined hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. Alphino says, if only Master Kokol knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond our terms of agreement, but I propose this not to curry favor. As confident as I am that we'll succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse, and if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Alright, Alpha Nerd. Kokol says, well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you've a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlene Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. Pah! That lot need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go, says Alphino. Alright. Back the way we came. Alrighty, so here we go. Do I make it to the dungeon tonight? definitely not making it to the end of the expansion tonight, not in this stream. But I've got to get some momentum going there, so... $62 to the south, that's down there. Alright, talk to LSA. LSA says, from what I can tell, a lot of the people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some of that fresh inspiration Skolaric Mochkane mentioned. So let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Yeah. Let's meet by the Aetheryte once our work is done, Alphino says. Okay. Alright, not an easy up and over, huh? Get on the bike. Zoom zoom. Talk to this fella. Steady Current says, helping with the Ark, even with all the power Master Coco's managed to squeeze out of the Aether Burner, it's still not enough apparently. And now I hear the final days have arrived, horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we'd begun the exodus sooner. People are dying, and there'll be no end of it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We've spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan, and all will be well. Alright. Splash. Silken Grin, huh? Oh, hello. Are you one of the new helpers? Working on the Aether Burner. Oh dear. I hear things are come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I'd choose that over my current duties, checking and loading samples day in, day out. It's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be cross if I misplace a few legumes or what have you. The forum's got enough of their plate as it is, what with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when. Lots of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Fosho and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest, I expect. But do they even have time to sleep? Alright, well... where to next? I'm gonna attune to this thing while I'm here. Makes it easier to get back here. And there's Gleep. And there's Barra. Alright, now I need to go find the third person to talk to. There they are. Hiding over here behind this building. Hey you! Quit hiding! Alright, she says, offering to help? That's very kind. But I should be able to organize the rest of the documents by myself. It's mostly lists the things we'll need once we arrive on the moon, and then whatever star we choose as our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person after having communicated with them in such a limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I've not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous looming giants. Why, I would much prefer something small and fluffy. Like that beheaded rabbit that ran by. Okay. Alright. Search for the beheaded rabbit, huh? Where is this? Over on the other side of the aetheryte. There we go. Living way. Fancy meeting Hugh here. Our friends in the forum brought us to see their teeny tiny toy boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is Aetheris itself, though we now find ourselves in a sort of funny underground miniaturized version of it. We were hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare, and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around. Or at least, that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Arianji and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest? Wouldn't that be fun? Okay. Arianji. Wise guides. Try as he might, Arianji cannot free himself of the labyrinth. A tour of Labyrinthos. An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. He needs a lint roller. Given the similarities twixt this artificial environment and Bestway's burrow, 'twould be in our best interest to have the Loporrits acquaint themselves with those conditions deemed optimal by their Charlayan collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing rather than broadening their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture? I ain't got the raisins for that. Singing Way says, what a marvelous idea. Might we begin with that great big what's-it over yonder? Arianji says, ah yes, the what's-it. I shall leave its explanation to her. Great. I don't know what a what's it is, but a who's it maybe. Oh, here they are again. Alright. Singing Way says, goodness me. To build something so large without creation magics is positively stupendous. Perhaps you could direct our attention to this most important features? Sure. Search the apparatus for points of potential interest. You may move the camera, blah blah blah. There's a tube. Singing Way says, is that water I hear from inside that great big tube? It must be because of those cogs and that gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw up the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside it, too. Okay. Mushroom-like thing. That looks like the trees in the greatest Endwalker. Hold on. That's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced, too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water. Okay. And the tanks. It's a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected to the top of those tanks? And I see, through the windows, another pipe at the bottom. Ah, this must be for purifying water drawn up from below. Alright. Singing Way says, well, if I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from the underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower before being distributed elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it. A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would take only a moment to install in even the harshest of environments, for us leopards, that is. Living Way says, indeed, securing a reliable source of water is of the utmost importance for any fledgling settlement. Singing Way says, we have read, however, that peoples of Phaera sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? What'll I say? Many settlements in Thanalan are built near an oasis, or areas near waterfalls are common sites for villages in Garabanya. Near oasis. Singing Way says, so, wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, Growing Way says, I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We can provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on it far more than we had anticipated. Singing Way says, a few adjustments may be in order, once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual. Singing Way says, it may also be worth warning, let's try that again. It may also be worth learning more about how exactly they obtain their water in the first place. Oriange says, Master Alphino spoke of the machinery responsible for the feat during our journey through Logisticon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Loporits will share his appreciation for the engineering marvel. Singing Way says, oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid. Oriange says, we must journey beyond the sanctuary of Charlayan Hamlet. I shall lead the way. Growing Way says, you mean we'll have to brave the untamed wilderness? Living Way says, a valid concern indeed. We could not help but notice that many dangerous-looking creatures with big nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of this settlement. Were we not escorted there by burly custodians, I dread to think what would become of us. Oriange says, regrettably, too many a hungry predator for the aforementioned big nasty teeth. Loporits may appear to be potential and rather appetizing source of sustenance. Might I impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage? For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way. I entrust Singing Way and Growing Way to thy care. Oh gee, thanks. A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. Oh. Babysitting bunnies. Singing Way says, if it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Way. To the water extraction, what's it? And off we go again. Alright. Well, this isn't that, but okay. Oh, something's starting trouble. Gotcha. Gotchas. Okay, Growing Way, what do you got to say? Growing Way says, thank you so much. I really hope this water extraction Watsa is worth these harrowing experiences. As part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burnt to a crisp if it's all the same to you. Alrighty. Let's head off this way. There's Ariange. Ariange, take these rabbits back. Come on. I don't need to be babysitting little bunnies. My friends, I bid you welcome to this thingy. Our destination does lie at the left stop. Pray, follow me. Yeah, shoot, go on. Oh, I gotta follow him. Alright, here's Singing Way. How far am I from the dungeon? Marvelous. Simply marvelous, Singing Way says. So this is where the magic, or science, rather, takes place. The perfect environment to sustain life, artificially created. The knowledge we've gained here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently, most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. You're all very lucky that Aetheris just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder? Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I cannot wait to see more of it. Alright. And agricultural shock. I've got a ways to go! Alright. I've got quite a ways to go yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Hey, okay. Cooking Way is eager for the chance to, change of venue, or at the very least a change of what's it. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment, provisions, facilities. In other words, where's the food? Uriaji says, I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Muriel Argona. Words. As I imagine, Singing Way and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus, wouldst thou be so kind as to escort our visiting culinarian? Yes, that sounds much more interesting. Hopefully, I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Uriaji was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if a bit too verbose descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention Aetheris will soon be no more, so I must learn all that I can while there is still time. Rabbits are far too chipper. Alright, Cookingway says, let us brook no further delay. Off to follow the leopards to pump them. I almost want to call it a day for this and pick up tomorrow. And they're gonna have to forgive me, but I am getting on the bike while I'm still inside. Where's the door? That's not a door. There's a door. Let me out of the building. Let me go, let me go, let me go. Vroom, 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 vroom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Alright, Cookingway is right here, and we're gonna talk to him. This is the place, yes. The heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I've spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in our compendium. I dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put in pies. Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they would be willing to part with a few samples. Alright, the lopper is gonna follow me around. Let's go. We're gonna come talk to this dude, Bunny. Here, and see what he's got. Jebka says, ha, what a fine mess this is. Ah, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet, preparing for the exodus. And I'm not the only one. We've all got to find ways to do what we do down here up there. First on the moon, then on whatever star the Forum decides will become our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, that's better than waiting for the final days to claim us. But no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in their new environment. So many species doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Cookingway says, nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce, if we may. Oh, Chivka says, by all means, help yourselves. Much appreciated, my good fellow. Cookingway says, so, where to begin? Oh, okay. Over here. Come on. Let's go to the grapes. Cookingway says, oh! I know what these are. Grapes, yes? Let's see if they're as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. The taste is much like a ripe philosopher's carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit which is within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, that's certainly given me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what is your opinion of grapes? What am I gonna say? I'd brave an erupting volcano for a choice bunch? Meh, or ghastly things. I'd rather eat rancid gigantoad eyeballs. Let's go with the extra story that's on the website, and I'd brave an erupting volcano for a choice bunch. Cookingway says, yes, they are rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I've read, quite versatile, too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall? Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. Okay, why did I get the bike out then? Alright, cooking way. It says orange by name, orange by nature. Okay. What came first, the color or the fruit? Who cares? Let's eat. Yes, that's equal parts sweet and sour, as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult with Oriange about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter. This is all very complicated, you know. So many flavors, so many choices, and each individual with their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turned your noses up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous, though they still are in my estimation. Let no one say I said otherwise. Ah, but speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what's in that field over there. Over there, huh? Alright. Let's go over here. Alright, cooking way. That color, that texture. Are they some sort of enormous round carrots? No? In any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. It's so hard and flavorless. I may as well be chewing a piece of wood. That all but confirms it. There is nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as goodly carrots. Deloitte says, stop, stop, stop. Can't you see that they're pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try to eat them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Cookingway says, do you not find it an awful bother? Deloitte says, far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. With a name like Cookingway... Okay, Deloitte says, and what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we can safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. Cookingway says, then perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. Cookingway says, I wonder though, if there is anything even more delicious. How about that yellow fruit over yonder? Oh boy. You're in for a treat, Cookingway. Cookingway says, what a wonderful fragrance. With luck, it will have a flavor to match. As I have no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. My tongue, is this poison? Cookingway says, a lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How can something so similar to an orange be so revolting? Oh, come on. It may be some time before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I'd best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Alright. Talk to this guy again. Jebka says, finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking? Cookingway says, I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges, less so the pumpkin, though I learned the hard way that they're not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon. The deceiver. I still feel so violated. Shipky says, first time, was it? I'd hate to see for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth in more ways than one, so I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. Cooking Way says, more lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn the opportunity to... Oof! Bit of a siccup there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, lemon muffin. Do your worst. Cooking Way says, this is delicious. Although I still detect a hint of lemon that complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed its vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See, we rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal, and sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know you won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the Forum agonized over what was worth preserving and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we're to survive. Cooking Way says, such strength of will. Now I know what Eidolon sees in your kind. Mankind, the Loporrits. We were both born of the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the fates of the stars themselves. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. It's the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations, since time immemorial, have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the cost incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What, then, is the alternative, Cooking Way says? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect, to be content with what we have and make the most of it. Cooking Way says, when life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins. Jeb says, pardon my Eorzean, but what in the seven hells are you on about, and who are you anyway? Cooking Way, at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many of the Phaera species as possible, if you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course. I look forward to it. Cooking Way says, well, this has all been highly productive, probably. Let's go and see if Urianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? Alright. speak with Cooking Way. Alright, I thought I was going to have made more progress than this, and I think... Well, we're definitely going back this way. Cooking Way says, that was most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for their cuisine? What'll I say? Limenza La Minza is home to the Culinarians Guild and many less than savory establishments. The Far East has oodles of noodles. Noodles! Cooking Way says, would that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Atheris, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Heidelin's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way. Our Yunjay appears to be tallying the Lubrits in preparation for an imminent departure. I trust that time at Merrill Ergonomics did bear fruit. Our own efforts, too, were rewarded. We now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them and us for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let us return to Charlayan Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend to each and every Loprit there, should further questions within my power to answer arise. Anyway, says, aww. Alright, down we go. Get on over here. Okie dokie. Growing Way is going to say something. Growing Way says, sigh. Yes, that was indeed me verbalizing a sigh to express my emotional state. Do you want to know why? Because I saw the reconstructed environmental data for Atheris at Logiscon Alpha, that's why. A forest so lovely and so leafy. Are all of your forests like that? What am I gonna say? The Black Shroud is quite leafy indeed, and a place of utmost tranquility. They're verdant, at least. The trees of Dravania stand particularly proud, or you should see the forests of the first. One was purple. I mean, yeah. You should see the ones on the first. Purple. Growing my gasp. Gasp, I say! With a star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you. Trying so hard, yet achieving so little. Aw, poor Loperette. Ryanji says, not at all. Their works are no less worthy for their uniqueness. Somebody else says, I thought I heard tiny voices. Thancred! Ryanji exclaims. Ryanji says, how didst thou fare? Thancred says, oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping to move their cargo. Preparations have proceeded without interruption here, despite news of the coming end. We have the forum's leadership to thank for that. That doesn't mean people aren't worried, though. Quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike at any moment, they hurry to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could be the difference between life and death, and we could hardly tell them there's no cause for concern. Ryanji says, perhaps not, though aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten their burden. Growing way says, me? Be of use to people? I'm honored you would think me so capable, but I'm not sure that I'm up to the challenge. Nevertheless, I believe in thee, Ryanji says. Growing way says, if you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try. Thancred says, I passed someone mopping in the Western Plaza, and that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you could start with him? Ryanji says, 'tis as good a place as any. Come. Alright. Still got a bunch to do. Gotta go up this way. Troubled researcher says, oh, can I help you? It is you who would help me. Is my anxiety truly so obvious? Ryanji says, a burden shared is a burden eased. Please, pray, tell us of thy troubles. The researcher says, those little fellas do look like good listeners. I'm an engineer, you see. And what they say of the ship, that it's the sum of decades of Charlayan ingenuity, that it's built with peerless, elegant technology, it's all true. but I know that none of it's a guarantee. We've never launched a starfaring vessel, let alone flown it in the great expanse. All the tests we've run have been on the ground. Only operational personnel and cargo will be aboard for the first voyage. But even so, if it fails us then, what can we do? And if it doesn't, it could fall apart on the next flight, or the one after that. We've done everything we can to prevent that from happening, but it hardly matters. We thought the Aetherburner's design was flawless too, and look how that turned out. Ariandra says, "Thou art familiar with these most daunting technologies, and thus dost thou hold the power to allay his fears." Greenway says, "Oh, I'm not sure about that, but, well..." Growingway says, "Maybe you could tell me if there are any aspects of the ship's design that you're especially worried about?" The researcher says, "Our ability to walk about and perform our tasks, for one. I've devised a means by which to employ gravity, a spatial temporal spell to regulate the environment. But what if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we've left the star?" Ah, gravitation. Maybe I can help after all. Up there is not so different from down here, you see. The same rules apply, and if you consider them as part of one great big cosmos rather than separate places. Ariandra says, "I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation." Yeah, if Thancred's tale is true, all others, or still others, would benefit from insights born of experience. Might it prevail upon the Loperates to attend them? Livingway says, "An excellent idea, if I do say so myself. There is naught we'd like more than to ease the hearts of the fine people of Aetheris and learn more about them while we're at it." Ariandra says, "Full glad am I to hear it. Gather thy companions and bring them hither. And thou hast a gift for finding souls in need of succor. Pray, seek thee out the distressed and apprehensive, and inform them that help is at hand. I shall await them here, and I shall introduce each to a suitable Loperet." Livingway says, "Oh, I do so look forward to that. A place for every Loperet, and every Loperet in their place." Alright. You seek out troubled Chileans. Okay. There's one. 56 bunches of weeds in the ground. 56 bunches of weeds. Rip one out. Add to the mound. 55 bunches of weeds in the... Oh, hey. Eep! I'm not collecting my duties, I swear. I was in need of a little break, you see, and then I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went on a walk, and then I noticed these weeds, and... Pleasant conversation partners, and oh so fuzzy. Goodness me, that does sound like a much better way to relax. Alright. Oh, there's somebody else. We'll go right over here for the hyperventilating engineer. By the gods, my chest is tight. Am I dying? Is this what dying feels like? No, you're hyperventilating. Oh, pardon me. I didn't see you there. There's no cause for concern, I assure you. No cause for concern, even though we may need to depart at any moment, and if the hull I designed buckles under the strain, the entire vessel may explode on launch, claiming countless lives and dooming all mankind, but that is highly unlikely. Yes, highly unlikely, highly... Calm down. If visitors can help me triple check for structural flaws, you say? Why, that would be wonderful. I'm breathing more easily already. Yep. Alright. That's 2 out of 8. Can I have my bicycle? Thank you. Bum. Stairs. Okay. There's one down there. How is that an invalid target? Right there. Blasted assistants. Where have they gone off to at a time like this? Beg pardon? But I have not the time for idle chit-chat. I need to reconfirm that ether levels are consistent throughout the vessel's machinery, and it seems I shall have to do so single-handedly, I swear, when I find those assistants of mine. The Loperits are willing to help? Why didn't you say so? At least they won't moan about how they're checked that 2,000 times already and haven't slept in weeks. Lazy sods. And there's a second one there. I'm at 3 of 8. How might I help you? My, what a lovely idea, Occupied Administrator says. I too noticed people becoming rather tense, so I rushed out to pluck some fresh, fragrant tea leaves. Now I need only track down 100 or so cups. Did I just see a frog? I did. But don't you worry, I can manage. I hope you plan to cheer everyone up goes well. There, a woman is doing better than you are. Okay. Yeah! That's what I saw go in that building. Okay. You! Yes, you! You idiot! Have you seen an envelope lying around? This imbecile refuses to give me the alchemic I ordered without that bloody slip of parchment. Unless your friends have a spell to make me remember where I dropped my damned envelope, I doubt there'll be more help than you. And you've wasted enough of my time already. It would be unfortunate for all involved to inflict this man upon the Loperits. Alright. talk to this one. My face? What's wrong with my... Oh, perhaps I am a little tense. I was tasked with ensuring that the proper fauna, and only the proper fauna, was brought with us to the moon. However, the suitability of a few species is still under debate, and I can hardly make the decision myself when I know so little about the environment up there. Including the Lawports in our discussions is a wonderful idea. I absolutely will thank you. Perhaps their biology might offer some clue as well. Alright. Talk to this person now. Consult our collaborators. I suppose that would be more effective than sitting here brooding. I'm attempting to calculate how much cargo we can consolidate into fewer trips. Should the ether burner make our original estimates unfeasible, but there are simply too many variables. I feel as if my brow will turn inside out, but perhaps our lunar associates will have more insight into how much weight constitutes too much weight for our purposes. Thank you for letting me know. Alright. I'm not seeing anybody back here. Maybe over here? There's somebody. Calm researcher. Worries. No, I believe I'm fine, thank you. I've been confiding in my colleagues, and it's helped a lot. Can't recommend it enough. Already has all the support she needs. Yeah. Skeptical researcher? Have you heard anything of what's on the moon? I have no doubt that we can make it up there, but the searching for a new star part of the plan sounds awful vague to me. I asked the forum, and they will only tell us that our collaborators have everything under control. Forgive me, but I don't feel particularly safe wandering around the sea of stars on God's knows what made by God's knows who. Alright. You mean to say that I can speak with them directly? Amazing. I hope they like questions. Alright, I need 2 more. Just gonna talk to you so I can unlock that. I'll talk to this tired gleaner. Is anything bothering me? Well, I've been loading cargo for bells now, so my back feels like a void since played it as a piano. My feet and knees are drums and cymbals too. Seems fine if I need a break. Okay. Been over this way. Let's get on the bike again. Ah. I didn't see you before. Just leave me to my misery. The forum can appoint someone else. I apologize. I simply don't know what to do. How am I supposed to pilot the Ark if I'm already falling apart under the pressure? You know a starship pilot that I could speak with? Truly? Well then, there's no time to waste. They can help me prepare for this monumental task. one more. Oh, you're not concerned. Apologies, but I'm waiting for delivery. Whatever it is, we'll have to wait. Too busy to chat. Alright. And concerns? Nay, there's no point in worrying at this stage. It'll only make things go slower. Alright, let's see. There's gotta be one more of these somewhere. And I hate to say it, but after this, I am going to wrap up for the night. I thought I was going to be further along. Tomorrow will be the day. There's capricious researcher. Alright. Aha! The end of the world is nigh, yet the work goes no faster. Schedules are such temperamental things. Feasible one moment, utterly bollocks the next. And yet, I've never felt so alive. Beyond your help. Only sleep can save her now. Okay. I know that feeling sometimes. Can we have one more that we can help there? Anxious engineer. What am I thinking about? The medical facilities on the ship, of course. I designed them with the assistance of our sages and chirurgeons, but to imagine every illness or injury that one might face in this great expanse is beyond any of us, to say nothing of the effects that living out there indefinitely might have on the body. The crew from the moon? Why did I not think of that? Alright, found the last one there. Oops, wrong way. And there is Urianje. Oh lord. Alright, behold. Through thine effort, word has spread throughout Labyrinthos, verily to a far greater degree than we anticipated. Living Way doth gather more laborates as we speak. I shall assign each in accordance with their skills, that new bonds of friendship might be forged. Should greater matters require not thine attention, watch over them, I pray thee. Alright. Wait at the destination. Sage Council. Alright.
So much in, well, in forever.
Lively, isn't it? The town is abuzz. Everyone eager to meet with our friends from the moon.
'Twould behoove you to consult with Sleeping Way. As our moon's pilot, his advice should be most pertinent.
I'm impressed. Truth be told, I struggle to tell one from another. No offense intended, of course.
None taken. After you and your friends left Mare Elementorum, we spent no small amount of time with your Urianger. Oh, the conversations we had. He told us all about Atheris, answered our every question, no matter how trifling or trivial. Look! Every page filled to the margins with knowledge. When I first arrived, I was struck by how little I knew. It was daunting. But then I realized that, were it not for Urianger and his teachings, we'd still be stuck on the moon, gazing at your world and wondering what we've been missing.
What would they think if they could see Urianger now? I dare say they'd be more than a bit surprised. And impressed, no doubt. Master Louisoix, Minfilia, Papalimo, and not to forget...
Oh there! Heard there was a visiting expert who we might bother with a few questions. I take it you'd be the one.
Oh. Oh dear.
Yes, I am.
Wilson and Blovida, Sharlayan's foremost researchers in the field of teleportation magic, and Moonbreeder's parents.
Oh boy.
It hath been some time. 'Tis good to see you in good health.
Likewise, old friend. Blovida and I were most honored to answer the call. Never expected this reunion, though, did we, dear?
I'll say, the nerve. Sending that letter, then running off to the gods know where. Do you have any idea how worried we were?
I'm sorry. 'Twas remiss of me not to deliver the news in person. No, more than that. 'Twas I who...
Our daughter was disillusioned after Master Louisoix left her behind. The day the Scions called upon her was the happiest I'd seen her in years.
I've kind of been anticipating this hitting like it did the first time, and every time this one just,
She made her every choice of her own free will. No one could have ever forced her to do otherwise. Don't blame yourself for her death. Celebrate her life. You know that's what she'd want.
If there is one thing we resent you for, it was that we could not be there to mourn her with you. Reading the words you penned in that shaky hand, we must have cried as much for you as we did for her.
sorry. I truly, truly am. I knew not what to say, knew not how to express my feelings. The poems and platitudes of wiser men, musings on sadness and loss, studied and memorized, and meaningless in the moment.
Silly boy. We are all powerless before such grief. Even now, try as I might, the words escape me. But in our hearts, we know, we always know.
I remember when you were young, how the lads teased you for choosing the company of books over others.
Hey.
Our moon didn't take kindly to that. Be nice to Urianger, she'd shout, and give them a walloping. No matter how many times we scolded her.
So we offered a suggestion. Rather than starting fights, why don't you be the bridge between Urianger and the others? She had to mull it over for a while, arms crossed, brow furrowed in intense thought. But from that day on, she never let you be alone. She'd drag you outside to play, pepper you with endless questions, read the same books you read, all to try and understand you that much better. I'm sure it was annoying and exhausting at the time, but she only ever had the best of intentions.
And look at you now, at the center of the crowd. The reason there even is a crowd, having brought these people together. You've no idea how proud we are.
To see the boy, our daughter, trusted and believed in more than anyone, grow into the man she always knew he could be. I can see her in you, too. Feel her. She walks with you wheresoever you go. So thank you, Urianger, for being who you are.
I think I can feel her too. The truth of her life. Not sorrow, but hope and love.
This moon breeder. She was important to him, wasn't she?
She was important to him. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
You could ask the man himself.
Oh, no. But watching this exchange reminds me how much I've yet to learn about your world. And its people.
You can live here your entire life and hardly learn a thing. And that's why it's too soon for this to end.
Alright, let's talk to Urianger, wrap this particular thread of quest up, and yeah. Oh, be assured that I'm fine. I am... Oh, are you? Well, glad to see them too. After so very long, gladder still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, 'twould have been far harder had I faced them alone. Alright. Yeah, so... not getting to that dungeon tonight. One, two... couple of quests yet to go before getting there. And then there is a trial afterwards. So, gonna wrap things up. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see you guys next time, which will be soon. I've got a lot of ground to cover before the expansion comes, so yeah. Gonna get this done, gonna stream a whole lot more. So I'll see you again really soon. Alright, bye for now.